Well, I am sorry about that, friendos. I completely, I was, I was messing with the terrain of the map of our game, and I completely got distracted. And then the dog ran upstairs, and I had to kick him out to kick him downstairs. And then I sat down. I was like, all right, well, I should probably have to go live soon. And then I look, and I'm like 2 minutes late. But I am sorry. I am sorry. But I am happy that today is Monday, June 2nd, 2025, and that I am here with you, my friends, my boys, my guys. And today, we're going to do what we usually do in here. We're going to make slow but continuous progress on this game. And honestly, that's what you hope for most is consistency, or I was going to say persistence. Like, what is the difference between persistence and consistency? I guess persistence is something you kind of have to do proactively. You have to like push, whereas consistence, it just can be something that kind of happens reactively, or it can be more passive, right? Whereas persistence is you kind of got to push towards it. I always said, like, in my younger days when I was single, if you wanted to get a girl, the key was persistence. Like, but there's a fine line between persistence and annoyance, right? Like, because I think if a girl is like semi attracted to you, and you are persistent in your goal to bed her, let's say, I think, as long as you're not creepy or overly aggressive, but you're persistent in your goal, I think a lot of times, if the girl is semi-attracted to you, she'll sleep with you just to like get you off her back. Like, I think that happens sometimes. Call me crazy. I don't know. I've only been with one woman in my life. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's get started. I feel like I got off to a weird start, and I'm going to get canceled. And but that's okay. That's okay, because can you cancel that which has nothing to cancel? That's a philosophical question right there. Can you cancel that which has nothing to cancel? That, I mean, what if I got canceled? I would lose Not Sure. I would lose Matthew. I've already lost Razman because he's never here. But, and then maybe a couple of others that kind of come in and out, like Terry Wrist, which is here with the wave. I think I've seen that name before. Matthew is here. Not Sure is here. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to lose you guys. I don't want to get canceled. Let me make sure everything is live. All right. Literally a donut. Is that you? Not Sure. Literally a donut. He has a bunch of dinosaurs in the room. I'm going to put that up there. Let me see. Okay, the chat room is working. Everything's working. I did a lot of research over the weekend. Checked the bug issue. I sent a post. All right. Well, let's do that. Hopefully, there's like no dick pics in this post, but let's see. Or maybe maybe there is. Let me see. Oh, a pull request. All right. Oh, okay. Wait. No, that's my pull request. So I actually did look at that, because when I was playing it over the weekend, I was like, wait a minute, is it working? Because it seemed like it was kind of like not a bug. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Not sure. So you can see that I merged Matthew's medieval UI here, which I think is just great. I don't know, Julio, but then so I was okay. All right. So let me see. Let's go over here, and I guess that's. Oh, when I walk, there definitely is a transition. I replied to the bug issue. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see what you say. Crouch. Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? Look at that. I started working on humanoid characters and animations. Here's the character I was working on. Let's take a look. I got the animations from Mixamo. I used Ybot as a general humanoid skeleton to grab the animations. The code should probably switch to a new input system. Okay, let's look at that. Also, I started playing with Cinemachine. We'll look at that. It makes it easy to add camera effect and idle breathing and shaking from explosions. Interesting. All right, so this is... So that is the player character? Okay, I get that. I can get that, but oh, there's a few of them here. Oh, like we got an old man in jeans and clothes. Okay. And so wait, let's go back to the bearded guy. Okay, the bearded guy is free. So yeah, I think we should start there. I am not opposed, like, first, like, I would never ask you guys for money for this, never. But I am not opposed to putting some of my own money, like a little bit, like some within, like, I would say lifetime project money that I'm willing to put into it, $500. Like, that's just the number that comes to mind. Like, I could see myself, like, you know, I could see myself spending over the course lifetime of this project $500. Now, that number may increase as the game grows and evolves, and like if I actually am like, wow, this actually is turning into something cool, that $500 number could increase. And the only reason I mention that is like it's good that Beard Man in jeans and t-shirt are Beard Man in jeans and shirt. It's good that he's free. I see Old Man down here. It's $10. Like I could see myself buying like, okay, Old Man. But here's the question, and I don't know how this works. And maybe Matthew can answer this. If I buy Beard Man, is it just a license thing? And what I mean by that, if I buy Beard Man and then I put him into my project and then I push that code up to GitHub, couldn't anybody then just grab that asset from my project and use it in theirs for free? Now, mind you, then you would run into issues like if they wanted to like release it on Steam or something like that. But is there any kind of is there any? I'm just wondering how that works. So you know, if I purchase this, are you guys like? What am I purchasing exactly? Like, would you guys, like if I purchase Old Man in Jeans clothes, would you guys be able to clone my repo and, you know, add animations to him or whatever you need to? Would you guys be able to work with Old Man in Jeans clothes? So I'm curious about that. Let's see. We should start putting in humanoid forms. I'm not objecting to that idea. I think we probably should too. I will say I am growing a little emotionally attached to the capsule. I was thinking also over the weekend, like what would be like one goal that I would kind of like to like work towards with this game is it would be nice if the players and this is a lofty goal. This is the big goal. And it's not like money, like, you know, like I want to be bigger than Schedule 1, which of course would be great. But no, what I think one goal that I would love for this game is you're the player and you're going to have, you know, we have the green guy. And then I've talked about how I want to add like more characters. Like I want to have a whole family, right? Like, you know, you're the dad, you're going to have the son, you're going to have the daughter, the wife, and the grandfather. I would love if somehow we could make it so that if one of those family members dies, that the player actually feels some sense of sadness or some sense of loss, right? Like I would love, like, and I guess what I'm kind of getting at is I would love to somehow instill an emotional connection with the player, which I think is like I said, I think it's a lofty goal. I think that's a big goal because I think it's a lot easier said than done. How we do that, I don't know. Okay. I replied to the bug. We should start. Okay. The one I sent is free. Yes, it is free. We should start the process of having humanoid characters. I already read that. I did some tests. It's not too bad. They would be breaking the license, not you. Okay. So, okay. And that's kind of what I figured, right? It's kind of like, you know, if you steal license keys, it's the person who steals it, not the person who actually registered in accidentally. Oh, okay. I get it. Unity has a license manager. You can just replace the capsule with the humanoid character without any animations. Yes. Just as a placeholder. Matthew says we can definitely work with it, but definitely can't and shouldn't resell or pass as our own. You can check the license type each asset on the page. But if I purchase this license, okay, so you're saying I can't resell the asset, which makes perfect sense. But if I purchase this entity, if I purchase this asset, surely I can put it in my game and then sell my game, right? And then Not Sure says the biggest issue with licenses comes from selling a product. Yes. And actually, that's another thing. Like I was thinking about, and again, this is probably getting too far ahead of myself, which I have a tendency to do. And I was thinking, you know, I would eventually like to put this game up on Steam, which would be great. Which means I'm going to be putting the game up on Steam, which means hopefully there would be money incoming from this. And maybe, my goal is like if I can make a little bit of money, right? Like from what I've read online, it games can often make, a couple $100 here, there, maybe sell a handful of copies a month, on average. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm making money from this game, and then Not Sure and Matthew and whoever else comes in and they're contributing to the game, how does that work, right? So, and I found out, I did a little bit of research into that, again, getting ahead of myself, and basically AI was like, you need a contributor license. So that might be coming soon as well. I'm adding, and basically all you would have to do is just check a box when you do a PR. But, you guys are helping out a lot. And so then part of me was like, again, I'm getting ahead of myself with this, but part of me is like, I really would like to have some type of sharing. Like if the game takes off, it's only fair. Anyway, I don't know, but we'll again, getting ahead of myself. Let's see. Yes, typically everything on the Unity asset store is for commercial use, but always worth double checking the license per asset. Be sure of any specifics. Yeah. You should probably have a signed contracts. Yeah. And that's basically what AI was saying, was like, you can have, you can set it up in GitHub so that when somebody opens up a PR, they have to check a box that says something like, I read the contributor license and agree to the terms, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, but I honestly feel that, like, if you guys are helping me with the game, it, like, my words are difficult. You know what I'm getting at. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself because this might not make shit, right? This might not make shit. So, like, I don't want my ego to sound too big. But these are things I had a lot of time to think over the weekend. All right. I didn't stream. I did try streaming Saturday morning, and then I slept like, oh my God, Saturday morning was so rough, man. I went to sleep, and I went to bed Friday night. My wife and I got into was it Friday night we got into a fight? Maybe it was Saturday night. Whatever night we got into a fight. I think it was Saturday night. Yeah, it was Saturday night. We got into a fight. And it happens. Nothing big, just normal couple stuff. I saw Not Sure delete a message. It said something about I hired a friend. Now I'm going to be curious about what happened when you hire this friend. But Saturday night, so we get into this fight. Typical couple fight, no big deal, right? Like, well, my wife and I, like, actually, the longer we're together, the better we are getting at fighting. Like, we actually resolve our fights really well, which is great, right? I think it's important because conflict is good. Some conflict in a relationship is good. Obviously, you can take it too far, but some conflict is good. And if you learn how to have disagreements and arguments, I think that's important too. But it was a pretty bad fight Saturday night. And I might be oversharing, but that's okay. And so, of her own accord, she said she decided to sleep on the couch. And I'm like, oh, I learned a long time ago that if a woman is like, I am sleeping on the couch, I learned a long time ago to be like, okay. So anyway, so I think I had some trouble because she wasn't in the bed. And so I woke up at like 3:00 and I could not get back to sleep. And so at 4:30, I'm like, all right, I'm just getting out of bed. So I got out of bed, and then I knew that what was going to happen was that eventually I would get tired again. And then so around 7:00, I went back to bed, and I didn't get out of bed until 11. I felt like such a bum. It was horrible. Not Sure says, yeah, I fully understand. I got sued because he thought he was a partner, not an employee. Yeah. So I think those things, it would be good to like kind of have that. And that's, so you probably expect that coming probably in the next month or so. I'll add some type of contributor license. And like I said, I mean, I would love to figure out some type of, if you guys help out a lot, like I said, it's only fair that somehow, like, this is not a commitment, but somehow there should be some type of revenue sharing or something. I don't know what. I don't know how that would work. I would be curious to know how other projects do this, because I'm sure I am not the first person to have an open source project that they put on Steam for profit where other people were contributing. And I'm sure that of that set of projects that somebody probably has revenue sharing or something like that. Not Sure says, I got to run. I have a dinner party to be at. Lame. Lame. Like, you've got friends. Lame. Whatever. We see where we stand, in the priority list? Not sure. We see where we stand, loud and clear. All right. So anyway, but back to the. Well, let's play around with that tonight. Let's play around with the old man in jeans. So what I was doing here. Well, first of all, okay, let me talk about this for a minute. Come on. Oh, I'm playing the game. Oh shit, it's nighttime. I didn't realize. So what I was doing here is like, I am in my mind, like I have the terrain. If I look at the terrain from a big point, whoa, from a, oh my God. Let me get above it. So I was looking at like, okay, this is an island, which I like the idea of. And I've been fooling around with like the terrain a little bit with the topography and everything. And then see you later, not sure. See you on Wednesday. But I'm thinking, okay, I was thinking, well, this reminds me of an island in the Faroe Islands, of like the size. Like if I look at the scale and like the size, when I went to the Faroe Islands had a ton of little islands on them, a ton of little islands. And so I was looking at the topography at some of the, I don't know what that is. I was looking at the topography of some of the islands in the Faroe Islands, trying to like find like, okay, like if this was one of the islands in the Faroe Islands, like what would it look like kind of? And one of the common features I saw, if I go to this view here, actually, let's go to a terrain. So a lot of them, they have mountains. The ones that have well, they all have mountains pretty much, but this is very common where the mountains run through the middle of the island and then kind of fan out at the end. Man, the Faroe Islands are so beautiful. I stayed in I still have no idea how to pronounce it. Torsa, but which is right here. It looks like Torshavn, but I stayed in Torshavn. But the thing is you can drive all around, right? You can drive. And I went to this town up here, Klaksvik, which was a really funky little town. Klaksvik was really cool. And then I ended up taking a ferry out to one of these islands. And it was a cool trip. It was a cool trip. And it was so beautiful. Like the Faroe Islands, like Matthew, you're like on the other side of the Faroe Islands. But if anybody watching this now or in the future ever has a chance to go to the Faroe Islands, like 110% recommend. 110% recommend the Faroe Islands. Anyway, but I was looking at like the topography of these, right? Like trying to get an idea of what our island should look like. And so that's why I kind of put this mountainous area in the middle. And then I was like, okay, well, originally I had it all up, like if you look over here on the left-hand side, I had everything about the same height as what's on the left-hand side. And then I got down to like a view on the ground and I was like, okay, does that look like what I kind of remember from being in the Faroe Islands and kind of what I would see? And like that, no, that's just a hill. This right here, this tall one, that's kind of more of the scale. And actually, I would say even a little taller than that is what the is kind of what the peaks should be. But we're not going to accomplish that tonight. So actually, just let me go ahead and reset this. I will fool around with that. I enjoy playing with the terrain quite a bit, which I think probably I'm not alone in that. I think that's probably something a lot of people enjoy. Like this right here. This is way too. This is just way too. Oh shit! It took my guy away. Yeah, this is just way too low. All right, let me. I put another patrolman down here because I wanted to be able to kind of zoom in on him easily. Let me see if I can bring him over here. Wait a minute. Let's bring him over here. So if I look at him, like these hills are way too low for like what I saw in the Faroe Islands. Matthew says, my family have been there, but not me. Heard good things. Have you thought about importing a terrain height map to use as a start? So I don't even know how to do that. So first of all, first thing, where do I get a terrain height map? Like, I wouldn't think I could use something like a terrain. So if I understand a terrain, is a terrain height map like a map with different colors for the height, or is a terrain height map like some data file with somehow denoting, like, I'm not even sure what a terrain height map is. Terrain height mapper. Okay, so it's just a little, okay, so it's like the color thing like I just described. Different colors, they dictate the height more or less. So the intensity of the white, the more white something is, the higher in elevation it is. So how is there functionality built into Unity where I could import this some way and then Unity would just kind of automatically adjust as needed? Yes, black and white height. There are tools online to generate based on maps. Interesting. I'll tell you one thing I am struggling with a lot, and maybe there's a good tool out there. Maybe there's a tool you can recommend, Matthew, or one that you know of. And I'm actually, that $500 I mentioned, like this is something I'm actually willing to spend some money on, is a tool to just have some roads. Like this manually, like laying the roads down. Like it took me fucking forever to build this bridge over here, and even this, like I'm at the point where like I'm not even concerned with how perfect it is, because oh boy, it's not perfect at all. And so I would love a tool that I can just like pretty much like city skylines. I understand it's not going to be quite. I mean, maybe there is, but I'm not expecting it to be as easily or ease of use. I'm not expecting it to be as simple to use as city skylines, but something that's like along those lines, that is what I would really love. It's just something where I can just draw some fucking roads, because being like laying this down like this is painstaking. It's painful. And I guess another option is just to kind of write our own, which I guess is another option. Somehow if I could just figure out how to goddamn connect two fucking road segments together. Like I can't figure this out. Like these do not snap together. I can't get them, like this one snapping to this one below it. Like I'm holding V down. It's not going to snap. Like it would be great if there was a way to like select this one, and push something, and then they just smush together. Like I don't know how to do that. I think not sure how to link to one. I'm sure we can find some options in the store, even if it's just better models. I've looked in the store, but I haven't looked in a while. I looked like very, very early on in the creation of this game. So let's take a look now. Let's see, road building tool. Let's just look up that. And then let's see, we have text animator. No. Okay, what about this? Let's see, road map builder Unity. Enhanced team collaboration. No. How to create a map for your game. No. Map Maker 3D tile tools. Okay, what is this? Let's look at this. Kinda? No, not really. No. Maybe. No, I don't think. The problem is I think map is the wrong word. Road map. Or let's see, road. Let's just do road builder tool, not ROPA. Road builder modeling. How to create road tracks using road architecture and road architect. So I did see about Road Architect, but it was like $50, and I think I was a little scared to spend $50 because I wasn't sure, like, oh, well, what am I buying? Road Architect. Urban Architect 2025, Ricky Software. Make cities for your games. This is a city generator that will make cities instantly on terrain. With this asset, you will have a great base to have a nice city environment that you can build on later. Okay. Doesn't tell me about road. Adaptive road systems. Say goodbye to flat city designs. My tool effortlessly lays roads on uneven terrains, ensuring a realistic urban environment. This is $35. I'm not opposed to. Okay, I mean that looks very nice. All right, let me turn the music down or turn it off for now. Let's see. Okay. Build roads. That's interesting. Okay, I mean, I like that idea. But can I draw my own roads? Also, this is very grid. It's a very, very grid-like. But maybe, you know, there's still several minutes left in the video. Okay, building density. Let's see. Okay, so he's just generating buildings. That's pretty cool. So I want to be able to create curved roads. I want to be able to have roads that go different varying elevations. I would like to be able to create bridges and tunnels. And that's roughly, but I mean, I want to be able to have circles, traffic circles. I mean, this looks kind of, but this is for more city building. Major road, max degree curvature. Okay. All right. That's pretty cool. But it's completely random. Is there any... Also, what about the assets for the roads themselves? Like, can you select the assets? Or no, I don't know how that would work. I mean, that looks pretty good. Not sold on it, though. Mostly because the roads don't look like roads. It's the only thing I don't like about it. Let's see. Global roads and traffic. $100. Holy hell. Let's see what it does. I mean, I might be spending 1/5 of our budget right now. Matthew says he can have a look around. Yeah, that'd be nice. Let me see. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's see if it's $100 worth $100. Virtual road. I'm interested. Are you telling me convert OSM to... Really? No. I mean, if this works as well as it looks like it works, it might be worth the $100. We might be blowing 1/5 of our budget, boys. What? No way. Generate scene infrastructure, including road and walkway meshes for any location on Earth using OpenStreetMap data. Then simulate traffic and pedestrian bridges, tunnels, traffic lights included. No way. No way. Wait a minute. Where are the compatible? Okay, compatible. Isn't there something that says Unity 2020? What about Unity 6? It's URP compatible. Is it not compatible with Unity 6? So that's the pro version. Here's the, let's see, this is the, what does this one do? Is this the same thing? Yeah, this is the same thing. But obviously the free version is not going to do the same thing. No way. I mean, that's pretty awesome. However, you still can't draw roads. That's my big contention here. You can't draw roads with it. It doesn't look like you can draw roads. Let's see. Create real world terrain, cartoon, racetrack, interior. Okay, polished, global. Yeah, there's not a lot of options here. Free road. I think so. A couple of these road systems I tried, and they just were I couldn't figure them out.
Because now it's in a packages folder as a UPM package. Now what I've done is I've made sure all the scripts and prefabs and everything have the same GUI.
Finance Bro asks, "How's it going?" Finance Bro, it's been a while. It's been a minute since you've been around. It's going pretty well. How's it going for you?
Asset changes. So
are you banging lots of chicks and then like giving them your business card the next day, as you call them in Uber? Jesus. Every time I stream. Every fucking time I stream. All right, I gotta plug my phone in, though. WTF? Where is my cable? Oh, my God. All right, my wife and I are about to have another fight because I think she took my cable. Oh, there's about to be a big fight here, boys. Oh, God. Oh, of course it's not charging. I've got 13%. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how it happened. Literally just landed on that asset. To use USB. No. I don't want to use the USB device. I want to charge. Are you charging? What the hell? I think it's charging. I think. No. All right. I'm going to assume it's charging. Maricón. All right. Okay. Sorry, boys. I'm all distracted because I got a phone call, and then it's just pandemonium over here, and we don't have any music, so it's all okay. There's the music. It's back. All right. Let's see. Haha. No, my fiance wouldn't like that. So instead of finance bro, it should be fiance bro. Really is what it should be. I've actually been studying a lot for my exams for the past weeks. Nice. What are you studying? And then Matthew says that's probably worth trying just for being free and close to what you want. So I did try this NB road system. I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, actually, I didn't finish I got distracted by the phone call, and that just threw a wrench into everything. But can you drag the road? Okay. My problem with a lot of things in life is I don't read the documentation, but who the fuck reads documentation? Like literally, who reads do you guys read documentation? Because I sure as shit don't. And I because the main reason I don't read documentation is because most documentation is absolute crap. It's absolute crap. So no. So why bother? Like, do I want to read crap? Do you want to read crap? No.
Migration as I've done here. Now, because the new version, the 2.0 version, is a UPM package.
Okay.
You can't simply import it. Now, at the time of recording this, the new version isn't published yet, so I'm just importing it here.
Okay. He's importing the package.
And as you can see, this looks wrong, right? There's things not selected, and you can't select them, and there's like this folder, but also the packages folder. That's because now it's in a packages folder as a UPM package.
Okay.
Now, what I've done is I've made sure all the scripts and prefabs and everything have the same GUID as before, and that's the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter if the...
My team has a whole Confluence dedicated to documentation. It's just where words go to die. Yes. I will say that as a programmer at work, I did take great satisfaction in writing documentation for a while. Like I would write a new feature and then I would write really excellent documentation and then it would never get read, essentially. But I enjoyed it mostly because then 6 months, 9 months, 18 months later, when I had completely forgotten how it works, I could go back to the documentation I had written and remember, that's what it does. I would also... And I should start doing this again because it was actually a good idea. When I would like fix bugs, I would in Jira, I would write the notes to the tester, like, what they need to test to verify that it was fixed. And then I had a section under it would be like technical notes where I would write like, okay, the problem was in this CPP file because this variable was blah, blah, blah. Like I would write very detailed bug notes of what the issue was, or code, I should say code notes about it. Finance Pro says, I'm studying for a bachelor in information science. I have an exam on machine learning, knowledge graphs, and user-centered design this month. Good luck, dude. You'll be fine. Information science, that's not even a real science. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Matthew says, I write little one-page docs for my own systems just to say, do this to make it work. Fair.
Asset changes. So all you have to do is, that's why you should definitely make a backup. Just delete this entire folder, and then you import it. Or in your situation, it would be re-download in a package manager and import files.
I already don't like this.
And now you can see everything is selected here. There's only the packages entry here.
Okay, show me how to... Okay. Show me how to...
Just click yes here.
Show me how to draw roads. Are you going to show me how to draw roads?
This will show up here.
No, you're not. You're not showing me how to draw roads.
Back. Here are missing. You just have to restart Unity once. There we are. You might have to just construct graph again. And that's it.
Oh, there's lots of little videos here. Okay, maybe I should try this. Okay, getting started.
This package enables you to create custom roads as well as connect them into a complex network of intersections.
All right.
Allowing you to trace the shortest path between any 2 points.
Okay,
to the road network you see on screen right now. You'll learn how to manipulate roads using control points as well as linking them to intersections. At the end, we'll add a navigator to use for pathfinding. First, let's create a new project. After you made sure that you added the package to your assets in the asset store,
okay.
Import it into your project. For that, click on Window, Package Manager, My Assets, and you should find the asset here.
Okay. Click. Wait, what? Oh, Jesus. How dare you interrupt me with my new favorite I'm literally watching a video on my new favorite package and it interrupted. What do we have over here? Okay. I had to go through machine learning 2, Finance Pro. The maths was a bit much for me. Oh, so British calling it the maths. The maths. Like it's plural. So British. Cat99. Hi, you should have already enabled community leaderboard. Chat will love it. I don't know what that is. It's new YouTube feature. Oh, well, great. She's Cat99 is explaining it in the very next comment. I can't tell if Cat99 is a bot or spam, but okay. It's a new YouTube feature that shows live chat rankings. Those participating gain XP from 1 to 50. Really awesome, by the way. Chat will love it. Just search it up real quick and enable it. It's funny streamers haven't enabled the feature yet a week after update. YouTube Studio Creator Dashboard. I feel like this is... Why do I feel like this is... I'm going to do this off screen because I feel like this is some type of phishing thing. Like there's like a scam where I do it online, like I do it on stream, and then suddenly they hijack the stream. So I'm going to do it over here. Okay, let's see. I'm not a bot. Just stop, bro. Okay, so YouTube Studio Creator Dashboard. Okay, let me see. Easy. Okay, monetization, which I'm not monetized. So there goes that. So that idea is right out the window. Monetization Community Dashboard. Let me see if I have access to it. Chat, email support. Continue to grow. Yeah, I don't think I have access. Grow your community memberships. No, let me see. Let's look up dashboard. Yeah, I don't think I have access to it, but let me load up my naughty boy browser. Let's go to my monetized channel and look for it there. Now I'm curious. Community. See, it's like this channel up. Like I feel like the URL up here is what like they're gonna hack me somehow. Let me see. I feel like I should change my password now. No, I don't. I don't see this anywhere. Ask ChatGPT for a quick guide. Okay, let's see. I do not. I'm not going to use ChatGPT for this because this is hijacking the stream. But okay, this is a community dashboard. Community. Let's see. Community. Oh my God. Community dashboard. YouTube. YouTube dashboard. Community process and dashboards. I don't think. Okay, 18 community dashboard. Reddit clone. I don't think this exists. Now my actual monetized channel is going to be hacked probably. Let's see. I got to back up. Finance Bro says, yeah, the math is where I struggle as well. A lot of formulas to remember. Luckily, we can bring notes for the exam. I got my bachelor's in mathematics. I love math. Math is amazing. Like, math is... I am not a religious person. Like, I'm mostly atheist, I think. But if I did have a religion, it would be math. Like, it would literally be math. Because math is... It's so beautiful because math is... It's like the one truth in the world. It's the only thing that you can take for truth that you know is true. Math is so beautiful. Like I loved math. I mean, I loved it enough to get a bachelor's in it. I would have gotten a higher degree if I didn't need to work for a living, but unfortunately I do. Matthew says has a ring. Okay, it's funny. Okay, wait, no. I'm trying to. Okay, I think we got an asset here. Matthew says. I think we might too. Cat. I'm ignoring Cat, skipping over Cat. Matthew has that ring to it. Cat. Finance Bro, what do you actually do for work? Are you talking to me? I'm a programmer. Well, nowadays I program programmers. I don't really program computers anymore. I program programmers. Math is the language of the universe. It really is. It really is. Cat9 says, I live art. I love art, I guess you're trying to say. Finance Bro says, I agree. Math is super cool, but it is so complex and sometimes hard to grasp. I don't know. It always came pretty naturally for me. I think that's also why so I did things kind of in reverse, right? Like I taught myself to program when I was very little, and then I ended up out of high school. I had a baby. Well, I didn't have the baby. My girlfriend had the baby. But I became a father. And so around when I was like 23, 24, I hadn't gone to college, and I lucked out. It was partially luck, but it was also partially, not to brag, but it was just partially intelligence too. Like I had some knowledge, but I lucked out and got a job as a programmer. And where was I going with this? Oh, so I started as a programmer when I was like 24 and programmed for many years. And then when I was approaching 30, I was like, I really should get a degree. So I started going to school, and then I started going to college, and when, it's got the 2-year degree. And then I went to a university, and by that point I knew I wanted to study mathematics. So by the time I got to this class called abstract algebra, it was a senior level math class. And the abstract algebra was really cool because when I started looking at the classes at this university, I started looking at like the 400 level classes. I knew I was going to major in math. And then I start looking and I'm like, abstract algebra. And I remember thinking this, like, what the fuck is abstract algebra? But I remember thinking, like, what the fuck is it? I don't know, but I want to know. And so I took classes, and and eventually it was like I have to take abstract algebra. And by then I kind of had an idea what it was. But it was known as one of the more difficult courses at the university. Well, it wasn't a university I went to, but at the college I went to, at the 4-year college. But it clicked. It just clicked with me because it was so much like it was probably the closest math course I had to programming. I don't know how to explain it because it was nothing like programming, but it was as though the muscles in my brain that I used for programming they were completely applicable to this type of mathematics because it was all about like abstraction and relations between abstractions. And like, if you can abstract properties out of certain things, what can you do with the base level things and then what kind of consequence of those operations on the base level things does that have on the higher level things? And I'm kind of describing object-oriented programming, but that's also what abstract algebra was all about. It was about, it was like taking specific operations like addition and abstracting it out. Like, okay, well, addition's commutative. What else is commutative? And things like that. But I aced that class. I aced it. And I remember we had this final that the teacher, I know he thought I cheated because he came in and it was like this final and people were like, yeah, no, that was tough. And I was like, yeah, it was tough, but it wasn't terrible. Like I managed to do it. I didn't have any problem with it. And so he came in and he's like, well, before I give you back your exams, I have something that I would like all of you to look at and sign. And it was like this sheet of paper, and it was just like, I hereby, I certify that I did not use any unapproved sources for assistance with the exam or something like that. It was basically saying, I don't want to call it an affidavit, but it was a little document that said I did not cheat. And then he wanted us to sign it. And he passed one out to each of us. And he was like, and if you have any second thoughts about signing this, then, see me after class. I saw it, but when he handed it to me, he kind of handed the paper to everybody else. But then with me, he put it down in front of me and did 2 taps on it, put it down and did 2 taps. I think he thought I cheated, which I did not. I did not cheat. It just, for whatever reason, abstract algebra just really clicked with me. And then, I loved math. I could talk about math all day. Like math is fucking awesome. Okay, I got to back up. There's a lot of messages here. Ask ChatGPT. I love art. Okay, Addie, you'll later find out that the feature on your YouTube streams, I feel so bad for being clowned by you. Don't, dude, don't stop it, Kat. Stop it. I'm not clowning you. I don't think I have access to the feature. It looks like it's probably a feature for channels that are monetized. And this channel that I stream on is not monetized yet. Matthew, if it's legit in the monetization section, he may not have access to that yet. Exactly. IROP. Oh, this is Igor Grongrovia. Igor Gregoria. I just joined. What type of math are we talking about? All kinds. No, I mean, it was a general math discussion. Math is about graphs and lines moving in sync. Poor mathematicians see formulas and numbers. That is not at all what math is about. Which one are you? Finance Bro. Yes, but my dumbass decided to take an easy route through high school and chose the easiest math. Now I need to learn a ton of math concepts I've never ever seen. You'll get there. It's all logic. You'll get there. That's what I mean. I'm not saying you will continue to study math, but math at some point, it's funny because math probably around the 300 level. Like once you take calculus 3, that's kind of like either calculus or like differential equations. Those are not even differential equations. I would say calculus, maybe calculus. But basically, math gets to a point where numbers are like not really seen that often. Like you'll see 0 and you'll see 1 and 2 and maybe the square root of 2, but like you at some point you stop dealing with numbers really. And then the higher level you get, math just becomes about proofs. It literally, like by the time you get to the 400 level, it's all about proofs. Prove this. What's really cool is you spend this time studying, like in the 200 level, you spend this time studying calculus, right? You learn all these different equations for calculus. You learn how the rules of differentiation, the rules of integration, and like what they mean, and like all these other, like you learn all these things, like all these equations. Then when you get to real analysis, that's when the fun really begins, because real analysis is about proving it. It's about learning how that stuff was not just derived, but you learn about like what Newton and Leibniz, the two people who are kind of credited with inventing calculus, you kind of learn how like what they developed this systematic approach, but that there were issues with it because it wasn't really on a strong logical foundation. And then that's kind of when like you have mathematicians like Cauchy that came along in like in the 1800s or the late 1800s. When was Cauchy alive? Late 1800s? But like Cauchy was really like the one who kind of like took calculus and kind of said, well, the way we know calculus today, like think about like, well, we talk about as something approaches infinity, what does it do? And it was Cauchy that was really like, well, what does it really mean to approach infinity? Like, and how, from a mathematical standpoint, how is that extrapolate? Like, how would you can't just say as something approaches infinity. You have to actually define it. Like mathematics is all about explicit definitions of terms and using those to kind of build upon them. And Cauchy was really the one that was like, well, calculus is really kind of like on no foundation, and Cauchy came along, put it on a foundation. But and that's what real analysis is about. It's really about putting calculus on a solid logical foundation. And it was so cool. And topology was another cool course, because in topology, so you build up like this foundation of like when you study calculus, and then you study real analysis, and now you think like things like integration or differentiation, you just kind of see them like, oh, it's approaching zero, so you could differentiate. Oh, okay, well this thing has this property and this property, so you could kind of differentiate it. So topology does that with sets, right? And not just like numerical sets, but it does it with abstract sets, with sets of like, if something has like an infinite number of, I'm trying to think of an example, and I can't think of an example right now because every example I'm thinking of has a finite. I was going to say like think about like protons, but even protons have a finite number. But anyway, but the point is it does it with, but topology kind of takes I don't even know how to explain it, because it takes set theory and combines set theory with calculus, and you start learning how like you can differentiate groups of stuff as long as it has these certain. I gotta shut up. I'm going to talk for the next hour about math. Okay. Anyway, okay. Cat99. By the way, the YouTube community leaderboard is a new feature only for monetized creators. I think we established that. And can be enabled at the studio app. Math is about abstract lines, moving and stuff. Search it up. Maybe you don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I'm not trying to prove you wrong, but you must have known what I'm trying to say. No, that's not what math is about, though. But we can agree to disagree. That's fine. Even the simple theorem of Pythagoras is like that. If you see it in a 200 IQ way. Okay, Cat's just trolling now. The set of natural numbers, isn't that infinite? Yes, it is infinite. But here's one of the coolest things about math, that like one of the cool factoids that I love. I love explaining this because it's a very simple concept. So infinity, right? Let's take the natural numbers, for example. So how many natural numbers are there? There's an infinite number of them. The natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, what about the integers? The integers are the natural numbers and the negative numbers and 0, okay? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you need to go the other way. 0, -1, -2, -3, like, and you spread out. Okay, so you ask yourself, okay, well, are there more natural numbers or are there more integers, right? And you would think like there's part of you that's like, well, obviously there would be more integers because the integers include the natural numbers and they include the negative numbers as well. But we all probably know that there are the same amount of that there are the same amount of integers and there are the same amount of natural numbers. Okay, great. And then you start, okay, well, what about fractions, which are also called rational numbers? Are there more rational numbers between 0 and 1, or are there more integers? And you think about it for a minute, you're like, well, there's actually the same amount. Like, you can prove that there's the same amount of integers as there are rational numbers between 0 and 1, or as there are rational numbers in general, right? So that is what is it called? Fuck, it's been so long since I've studied math. Oh, come on. Okay, let me just continue. It'll come to me. Hopefully it'll come to me, but it's been a while. So anyway, you're establishing, okay, you're kind of getting to this point of infinity is infinity. Like if something is infinity, that's how big infinity is. And infinity is infinity. Okay. So I talked about rational numbers. What about irrational numbers? What are irrational numbers? They're feminine numbers. Ha ha ha. See what I did there? Okay, don't take offense. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, we're joking here. We're joking. So irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be written as a fraction. So the square root of 2, for example, there is no fraction that is equal to the square root of 2. You can get fractions that are very, 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 very close to the square root of 2. You can actually get as arbitrarily close as you want. But there is no fraction that is truly equal to the square root of 2. That's an irrational number. Pi is an irrational number. The number e, which you might be familiar with, is an irrational number. Okay. So then you ask yourself, okay, or maybe somebody asks you, or maybe you're on a date and the girl you're on a date with asks you, okay, are there more? We've established that there are integers and rational numbers and they're equal. Elif. Is it Elif? I'll look it up in a minute. But so we've established that integers and rational numbers have the same amount of numbers. Are there more rational numbers or integers? Are there more of those numbers than there are irrational numbers? Or are there more irrational than there are rational numbers? Because the integers are all rational numbers as well. So you say, okay, are there more irrational or are there more rational? Or are they equal? And intuitively, you would think they're equal because there's an infinite number of irrational numbers and there's an infinite number of rational numbers. So obviously, the infinity is infinity, so they must be equal. Wrong! There's more irrational numbers than there are rational numbers, and they're both equal to infinity. And like that fact like fucking blew my mind. Like they're both infinite, but one is bigger than the other. And you can prove that there are more irrational numbers than there are rational numbers. And then it gets even weirder because there's irrational numbers and then there's irrational numbers. And so irrational numbers are numbers that can be written as a polynomial. Then there are these other numbers called transcendental numbers. And transcendental numbers are basically numbers that cannot be written as a polynomial. And so you ask yourself, okay, well, what about transcendental numbers? Like, do they have this? It's transcendental? Are they the same? Transcendental have the same as rational and irrational, or what? Like what? There's more transcendental numbers than there are irrational numbers, and so that you're realizing at this point that there are different sets of numbers that have different sizes. What is the word? I can't even remember the cardinality. There are different words. There are different. Is it cardinality? I can't remember. I think it's cardinality, but there are different types of numbers that are different sizes, even though they're all infinite. And so then you start asking yourself, well, how many infinite sets are there? Like, how many different classifications of infinite numbers? There's an infinite number of them. There's an infinite number of infinite sets of numbers of varying sizes. And then there's one set that's like a theoretical set. It's called the continuum. What is it? It's Cantor's. Oh, Jesus. Cantor's. Where is it? Cantor's cardinality. Cantor's cardinality refers to the concept that sets can be compared in size. Okay, that's about Cantor's theorem, set theory, cardinality. This is in set theorem, the cardinality. A set is strictly less than the cardinality. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Aleph. Yes, Aleph 0, Aleph 1. These are the different. So what I was just explaining the different sets, like how there's the rational numbers, there's the irrational numbers, there's transcendental, there's others. And how there's basically different sets of varying sizes. And that's what this Aleph is here. This is referring to the different sets, essentially. I don't know a lot about this. Like the continuum is kind of like all of the numbers and like so it's so bizarre. It's so like that when like but just the idea, like I love explaining that factoid because it's a pretty easy factoid to kind of grasp, but it's completely counterintuitive that there were. And I remember I was getting tattooed once. It was the guy who did this tattoo, this sleeve, and this was like when I was like in the midst of studying mathematics and I was learning about Cantor's cardinality theorem and things like that. And and I was explaining to him like there are different types of infinities. There are actually an infinite number of infinities and they have varying sizes. And he was like, well, I think that's where we'll just have to agree to disagree. And I'm like, it's not an opinion. And that's what I love about math, that it's not an opinion. Where are we? So Finance Bro, you ask how, and if you're talking about how can there, like, if you're talking about like the infinite of infinity and all of that, I think you can look up a video on YouTube. I think it's called The Infinite Hotel, and that kind of explains it. YouTube. There's probably several videos on it actually, but there's one in particular that I liked. I remember watching a while back. Infinite Hotel. Yeah, so you can see, Hilbert's Infinite. So that's how Hilbert explained it. He explained it with a hotel where it was kind of like it just anyway, I'm not going to bother trying to explain it again, but so in order to really understand how it's provable, and this is going to sound kind of like a condescending, kind of arrogant explanation, but it's true. In order to like really understand how it's provable and to be able to really to understand how it's provable, you have to do the math. You have to do the work to really have it make sense and be like, yeah, that makes sense. But that's true with many things, right? Like, somebody who's never done programming is not going to understand object-oriented programming. Somebody who's never been to medical school is not going to understand the intricacies of how the heart works and things like that. So, and this is just like that. Mathematics is exactly the same. Let's see. The setting out. Okay. Unity knows what infinity is. We can use math.infinity. It's a float. Okay. Well, Unity figured it out, I guess. They should be the same, right? Because it's infinite either way. Yeah. And that's the paradoxical thing about it, is that it really, like, you're like, how the fuck does that work? How can you have different sizes of infinity? But you do. And you can prove that you do. There's the way that Cantor's theorem works. It's basically what you do is you create a mapping. So you create a mapping of, like, you start, you got it. It's all about building blocks, just like programming. You start simple and you build your way up. Like the first thing I said was like, how could you like the blah blah blah. Let me see. We're not going to get any programming done tonight. That's all right. It's not like it's the first time that would ever happen. Okay. So you can create a mapping, right? So you start you start with creating a mapping of the natural numbers to the integers as a whole. So you could say, okay, well, 1 maps to, how does it work? But the even numbers map to the negative, and then the 3 could map to 2, and then the 4 could map to -2, and then the 5 could map to 3, and then this just goes on forever and ever, right? And you can see. And so what I'm doing here, and maybe you could just have like 0 maps to 0, okay? And then 1 maps to -1, 2 maps. And so what I'm doing here is I'm creating kind of a mapping of the natural, well, actually, if I say the natural number, 0 is not a natural number. So I guess you could just move everything down, and then you could do it like this: 1, and then -1, and then 2, and then -2 here, and so on. So you're creating this mapping of the natural numbers to the integers, and there's ways to prove. You can prove it, but you can see that this will work into infinity. And then it gets a little more complicated, but you can create a mapping of the natural numbers to all of the fractions. And again, it's convoluted and it's very esoteric, but you can prove it. But the way you prove that there are more irrational numbers than there are rational numbers is you can show that if you try, well, first of all, you want to try to map. Like if you say you remember the irrationals are going to be shit like that. But what you have to do is you start by approaching it. You say, okay, I am going to create a mapping of the rationals to the irrational numbers. And then you start creating this mapping. But then once you have the mapping down, you can there's a way where you can say, well, with the mapping I've created, you can see that just by the mapping that I can create a number which will never be in the mapping, meaning it is impossible to map the rational numbers to the irrational numbers. So then there's then you have to do an additional step to prove that the irrationals are bigger than the irrational. But it's so cool. It's so cool. Okay. Kat says, okay, wrong. I'm wrong. I just did a quick research, and what I'm referring to is math algebra abstract. Sorry, Addie, but I'd like you to explain what algebra abstract means for art students in simple words. So it's abstract algebra. But still, community leaderboard is a new feature. Cat99 is really... Cat99 must work on the community leaderboard team. Are you able to comprehend how there can be different sizes of infinity, though? I can comprehend the proof, but to comprehend the consequence of it, not really. Like the best way, like I remember having a girlfriend, I remember explaining it to her is the best way that I could explain it was, and kind of how I think of it, is that you can have infinite things, but some are more dense. Some infinities are more dense than other infinities. That's kind of one way to think about it. Matthew says, so next time she says size doesn't matter, I can send her a link to cardinality theory. Cat99, Matthew, am I supposed to understand size doesn't matter the Platonic way? Finance Bro, Matthew, you have got it all wrong. You want her to say size doesn't matter. Yeah. Just asking, no troll intended. So abstract algebra. So I'm happy to talk about abstract algebra. Mind you, it has been a while. It's been a long time, but I can explain what the basic idea of it is. So think about addition, right? And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to start. Let me do a new window. You guys don't need to see all my work stuff. All right. I'm going to start very basic, and I'm not going to get too complicated because I don't even remember the complicated. I think maybe about a year ago, I was looking through some old documents and I found my old homework from abstract algebra, from real analysis, from number theory. And I was looking through it and I was like, I don't even understand it. Like I've forgotten it all. Not all of it, but like I would not be able to like kind of just jump into a master's level class. I would, even though I'm qualified to on paper, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I would fail. It's been too long. But abstract algebra, think about this, right? So I don't even know how to explain it. How can I explain it? So one of the things like, so I think I have become kind of I think I've become more middle of the road. I used to be very liberal, and now I'm kind of leaning as I get older, which I think happens to a lot of old people. Finance Bro, thank you for the math lesson, Addie, but it's 2 a.m. here in Norway, and I should really go to bed. Have a good stream. Thanks, Finance Bro. Seriously, click and subscribe. Hope to see you again. I always like it when you join. Seriously, hope to see you again. Yep. Seriously, I'm going to say seriously one more time. Seriously. Lisa, oh my God, I thought you said raw, not wrong. Okay. How can we think how to even explain abstract algebra? It's all about I was trying to think of a concrete example, but I'm just going to talk. Abstract algebra is about abstracting out the properties of mathematical operations and understanding how those properties lead to uniformity among certain classes and subclasses of other numbers. So like addition. So you can think of addition as the addition we all know. Okay, here's a good example. Okay. So one of the things, like I was gonna, like what I was kind of going towards with my like I've become kind of more leaning towards the right as I've gotten older, but you know, there was like this. I don't know what it is like in the UK, but in the United States, there was this big thing like, you know, the math is racist, and they're trying to make math racist, and or they're trying to redefine language, and like, well, maybe 1 + 1 isn't always 2. That's so ridiculous because 1 + 1 always is 2. And I understand what they're saying from a political standpoint, but then the mathematician in me is like, well, no. Right? Like it depends, because when you say 1 + 1 = 2, we all kind of intuitively know what we mean by addition because we're taught like, well, this is what addition means. But the thing is that the operation of addition, what if you could define what the operation of addition is? And we do this all the time without even noticing it. So look at this. So here I have 1 + 1 = 2, because in this context, we are programmed to understand that we are doing integer addition. We are adding one thing plus another thing, and we're counting the total things, right? But in the bottom one, if I said cat plus dog = cat dog, I think most of you would agree that that looks completely plausible. Like that looks like a valid context or definition of addition, right? That looks like a valid usage of addition, right? But if I used that definition of addition, 1 + 1 or 1 + 1 would equal 1 1. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is that addition can mean different things. And what abstract algebra is about, it's about the study of, so these different things, these two different additions, these are relations. This is relating two different things together and what the consequence of that relation is. And so abstract algebra is all about the study of that. It's the study of how do different sets of things interact with things in an abstract way. And yeah, I mean, that's the best I'm going to be able to do. Like that's the best I'm going to be able to explain it without, like, well, first of all, without going back and like, but well, the abstract algebra class was a lot. It was a lot of proofs. But that was kind of when you get into a lot of proofs. And then there's neat, because then you learn about things like, okay, so one thing, if we go back to integer addition, this is, you have a thing, you do an operation against another thing, and then you get the original thing back. And so in this sense, 0, you would say 0 is the identity under integer addition. Well, what about this? Is 0 the identity of integer multiplication? No. 1 is the identity under integer multiplication. And so now you have relations of other things, like, but you can think about it, but you can get even kind of crazier with it. Think about a Rubik's Cube, right? So if you turn, like, if I have a solved Rubik's Cube and I turn the thing once, I have a new Rubik's Cube. I turn it again, I have another new one. I turn it again, I have yet another new one. I've turned it 3 times. I turn it once more, now I have the original thing, right? And so you could kind of think about that, okay, well, 4 operations, because I did 4 operations, but you have to be very careful how you define an operation there for a Rubik's Cube, but 4 operations, that would be the identity of that relation for that part of the Rubik's Cube. So that's kind of what abstract algebra, it takes it out of the numbers and kind of starts applying it to other things like a Rubik's Cube. So anyway, that's the best I'm going to do. I'm going to move on from there, because I know Lisa is just like, I know Lisa's vagina is probably like drier than the Sahara Desert listening to this conversation. Finance Bro, I will definitely be back. Good night, dude. Good night. Cat99, which is probably gone, says, I understand math abstract, but it's just my head can't explain with words. Lisa says, alone in the world with a little cat dog. Matthew, we would surely have to use math to communicate with an alien species. Absolutely. One of my favorite movies is Contact with Jodie Foster. I think that's actually a really good movie. And it was originally a book by Carl Sagan, I think. I've always thought they should make I've always thought they should make a sequel, because remember how it ended? It ended with like, Jodie Foster's like, but I have to go back and I have to tell them. And he's like, well, the next step will be, we'll contact you again with, with the plan or whatever. But he gives no timeline for it, right? So it could be a year, it could be 20 years, it could be 500 years. We don't know. But I've always thought that a sequel, like now, like a sequel today, that like, because the original movie came out in like the 90s, I think, maybe the 80s or the 90s. I'm pretty sure it was in the 90s. But now we're 30 years removed from it. It would be great if like we had a sequel with like modern day Jodie Foster, and now the aliens come back with step 2. Like, I think that would be, I would totally dig that. When did Contact come out? Contact movie 97. Okay, no, that's a great movie. Will there ever be a sequel to Contact? There is no confirmed plans for a sequel to movie Contact. While there have been discussions and fan theories about potential follow-ups, there is no official announcement or production in the works. I would totally watch it. Matthew says he loves Contact. Yeah, no, I love that movie. It's a great movie. It's a really good movie. Oscar-winning writer Eric Roth pitched Contact 2 to Robert Zemeckis. This is March 2024, so about a year ago. No thanks. In a very special episode of Film Theories podcast, I've had the enormous pleasure of chatting with Oscar winner Eric Roth. Early in the conversation, he talks about working with Robert Zemeckis here. I called Bob actually to see if he was interested in me writing Contact 2 for him, because I really liked that. I really liked the whole arena. Zemeckis, in Roth's words, quickly declined the idea. with difficulties surrounding getting the rights to do another film in the first place. Oh, it's all legal. Like, that's why we haven't had a Friday the 13th in ages. Like, I love the Friday the 13th movies, but we haven't had one since that horrible abomination in 2009. Whether he'd explore that himself or not before, I can't speak to. In fact, I need to be clear here. None of these are Robert Zemeckis' words. This is Eric Roth's telling of the story. The rights to Contact, a film, went through a lengthy development, are held by estate of its authors, Carl Sagan. The original Contact, blah, 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 was dedicated to Sagan, blah, blah, blah. There never been talk of a sequel. Later in the conversation, we'd go back to the topic. Zemeckis talk quite frequently, but not okay. So they would basically have to go to Robert Zemeckis, or no, I'm sorry, Carl Sagan's estate and be like, hey, can we do this? Oh, there won't ever be a Contact 2 then, or at least there's precious sign of it. Instead, Zemeckis told Eric Roth about Here, and they're back to working on that, whatever the hell that is. Okay, Cat99, thank you, Sir Addy, for explaining. Also, my sis helped me understand that it's all about proofs, operations, mindful, identical numbers that's made up by one science teacher in the 70s once ignored it. No, the abstract algebra has been around a long time. Abstract algebra, was it Bertrand Russell or Bertrand Russell? Bertrand Russell. Is that his name? Well, I can't even. This is how far removed I am. I can't remember Bertrand. Is that his name? Bertrand Russell. Bertrand Russell. So Bertrand Russell was this mathematician who he was kind of one of the. I don't want to say he was kind of one of the people that kind of like started development of abstract algebra. It was kind of like brought it into it made it a study. But he's famous for a couple of things. Like there's a thing called the what is it? The barbershop paradox. And I'm going to screw it up, but the rule is like There's a barber in a town where every man goes to the barber to shave, but no man shaves himself, and then who shaves the barber? Something like that. I screwed it up, but there's some paradox in there. And Bertrand Russell was kind of the person who introduced that paradox. But he also did the Principal Mathematica, I think it was. But it's this like 3 or 4 volume set of books where Bertrand Russell set out to put mathematics on a solid foundation. And it's famous because in the original set, it wasn't until like the second volume that he actually was able to prove 1 + 1 = 2. Something like that. Like it's very famous for being very thick and obtuse. Truth becomes lies. Lies become truth. Now it's a thing, but she said it's a basic thing in today's world. However, to me, algebra abstract, it's abstract algebra, is like the key to understand 1D, 3D, 4D concept. You still need to search how to enable YouTube live stream community. Actually, that's a very good point, Cat99, because abstract algebra, there is a lot of. Never mind. I forgot what I was going to say. Do you work in sales, Cat99? I mean, Cat99 keeps pushing. He, she, whatever. Cat99 is still keeps pushing that that community leaderboard. Yes, sir, Matthew. How did you know? Huh? Cat99 is an interesting character, that's for sure. Okay, let's try to accomplish something. We are here. We're here to write a game. And we got completely sidetracked because I literally went on for an hour about mathematics. I told you, you get me started on math, and I could ask me another question about math. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer it, but if I know something about it, I'm happy to talk about it. What happened to that asset I got excited about? Where did it go? Isn't it somewhere in here? It was like MD Road System or something like that, wasn't it? Like MD or... Where did it go? Is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay. MB Road System. Okay. Let's check out this road tool. Okay. I'm really wanting a community leaderboard for some reason. Let's check out this road tool, our code. I kept on talking about it, but Sir Addy thinks I'm a troll. Cat99, I don't know what you are. I'm very confused by you. I'm a little scared. I think we lost Lisa. Okay. Let's open this up in Unity. I'm probably going to need Matthew's guidance on how to, because I'm not going to read this. Okay. Refreshing the list. Road system. Okay. Easy. Import into project. Well, first, do we know that it's compatible with this version of Unity? I mean, it just says 2020. It may not even be. Yeah, you purchased this item on March 21st. I think I tried using it and then I gave up like as quickly as I started. Package content. All right, sorry. Okay. I guess we can try. I guess we can try. All right, we're going to try. Oh, Lisa's still here. Oh, Lisa. Oh my God. Okay. So I guess I'm going to import all of this as long as it's all under one. Okay. It's going to be under packages. Okay. Easy. Last updated February 2025. Should be compatible. Only compatibility would be materials, which we can fix. All right. Let's see. I'm just going to import everything. We can delete as needed. Well, let's import everything just to see how it goes. I'm still on the branch, I think. No, I am on the branch. Okay, so this is okay. So yes, let's update these files. What the heck? Which, of course, the fact that it wants to update the files makes me nervous that this is not going to work. But guys, I have to step away for a second. It's going to be like a couple minutes. But I'm going to leave you with a video of my latest travel video. Check out my channel, Addy Goes Places. I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
I have to get my other bag, and then I found the cab driver, so it's nice. So I took one of my bags. Rule of thumb, even if you think you trust a person, keep the bag that has your passport with you, kind of at all times. At all times. I've known YouTubers who left their bags on questionable buses in the middle of Africa. And lo and behold, they got stolen. Oh my God.
20 minutes later, this is where my bag was. Have you noticed that something has changed? It's no longer there.
So just keep your bag with you. Even in Norway, you can't be too careful. All right, let's wait for my bag. For my big bag. Because another tidbit about traveling, have a very distinguishable bag. There it is. See it? Yeah. You see people with varying different levels of coats and jackets and things, and some people are just like literally in just like a t-shirt and a jacket, and other people have more than I do. All right, let's go find our guy. He was out here. Hopefully he hasn't left with my smaller bag. There's some good stuff in there. I got the DJI camera I hate as opposed to this one, which I'm using, but it's all right. It's all right. Okay. I love it how you can see your breath through it when you breathe out your nose. That's how you know it's cold. That's a good cold. This is a good cold. As long as it's still, it's very, very tolerable. Here we are. Are you from here? Are you from Narvik?
Yes.
Yeah? So a question, I have visited a few places that go into polar night.
Yeah.
I'm curious, for you, what do you find the most difficult to get through, the polar night or the polar day? Like night, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I'm here because I went to see the polar sunrise, I guess you would call it, the first sunrise of the season, which I think is in a few.
Oh, I was talking to myself. All right, I'm back. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that, Lisa. I would have kept talking to myself. I forgot that I muted it. Okay. I have no idea how to use this. I guess we should probably watch the video. Was this the getting started video?
So the first thing.
There we go. Okay, getting started. Okay.
Package enabled CGI and going to global.
No. Okay, we're a little too far ahead.
This button creates a new road.
Oh, wait.
For that, click window.
No. Okay. Okay. He's created a terrain. Good. Darwin says, I think you're muted. Yes, I was talking on mute. Lisa says, good job, Eddie. Thanks, Lisa. No, I was saying that you're saying that you're laying in bed petting your cat, and I was saying how that is definitely a euphemism. That is definitely a euphemism because we all know what it means when a lady is in bed petting her cat. Enough said.
System editor window. For that, click Window,
Okay.
System Editor.
Oh,
Let's put that down here.
I remember this. Okay.
To create a new road system, click this button.
The road system button.
Now let's move this road system to where we want it to be.
Okay.
The exact position is not that important.
All right. I like the classical jazz. Okay. So let's do that. All right. So we go up to window. Easy. No, his name is Author. He's cute and fat. All right. We're going to create a road system over here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do it over here. Okay. All right. So window, road system editor. Okay. We'll put that down here. Can I squeeze that in here? No, apparently not. Okay, we'll just put it over here. Okay, so we're going to create road system editor. Okay. Perfect. And then now the road system. Okay, so let's move it roughly to where we want it. Okay, we're going to put it right there. Okay. All right. Next video. Or next step.
This button creates a new road.
Okay.
A default road is just a spline with 2 control points.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, go back to road system. Okay, easy. Okay, come on down. No. I don't even want to click the button yet. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. Ready? Well, wait. How do I move just one of them? I don't want to move them both. I want to move just one. Wait, what happened? No, come back. Wait, what? All right, maybe I need to watch the video. Okay. I'm going to watch it on YouTube because I can make it a little bit bigger.
Unity's built-in tools work the way you would expect.
No, they don't.
U for moving. E for rotating.
But they're not working the way I thought. Okay, wait. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm trying to move it. Start end. Wait a minute. What is this? What is that one? I don't want to. I no.
And R allows you to spline with 2 control points. Unity's built-in tools work the way you would expect.
But they're not.
W for moving.
Okay, let me try with W. Okay, let me see. Wait. Go back to the road. Okay, W. I press W. Look, it's moving the whole thing. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so that's like some type of bug, I guess. Oh, wait, now it's kind of working. Okay, it kind of works, I guess. Okay, well, wait, no. Okay, well, how do I draw the road? Okay, maybe I missed something.
E for rotating.
Okay.
And R allows you to adjust handle lengths.
I don't see any of that.
Allows you to move control points freely. For that, I would recommend the isometric view. The tool allows you to adjust.
I don't see any of that.
And R allows.
R set to center or pivot. Pivot. Do I need to be on center? I don't know what is center and pivot. Okay, well wait, that does mean that okay. I mean that's kind of working now. Okay. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna make the terrain unselectable. I love that little hack. Not that helped much, but okay, let me see. Okay, so this is going here. Okay, now how do I draw the road? Why is it not drawing the road? Let me see. Rotate. No. Road. Okay. Rotate. That's not quite the rotation I thought it would be. I mean, it's close, but okay. Oh. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. I'm still not seeing the...
To adjust hand lengths. The Rect tool allows you to move control points freely. For that, I would recommend the isometric view. Click Reset Road to start over. To add new points between control points, hold Shift to preview the new location. Now click to add it. In
Okay.
order to extrude the road at the end,
Well, how do you draw the road?
and click.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
For default, the new point will copy the normal of the last point.
Okay. How do I draw the road?
In many cases, this might not be what you want.
Well, I want to draw the
Almost
road.
surface of where you click.
All right. I will follow these instructions later. I just want to learn how to draw the road.
Or hit Reset Road to go back to the start.
Okay.
Pressing X changes between local and global coordinates.
Okay.
If I rotate this point, as you can see, the axes point along it.
All right. That's
But if I
great.
press X, it is now in global coordinates, or rotate around the y-axis, the same plane as the, and that pressing X points along the XZ plane. Network of roads and intersections. Now that you know how to shape roads, let's create a
I know how to shape them. I don't know how to draw them.
Go to Road System.
Okay.
For the new road prefab, let's use Road 2 Lane.
Okay. This is just...
Road System.
Whoa. Wait. Now, wait. Now we actually see roads.
With
Okay.
the road system selected in a hierarchy,
Uh-huh.
let's add a new intersection.
Road system. Intersection. I did nothing. I'm wondering, create a new intersection. I'll click for more settings. I wonder, okay, there's no select a prefab for the new intersection. You can also, where did it go? MB road system. Okay, here we go. Is there going to be a prefab under here? Assets? Resources? No. Would it be up here? I remember because I already had this in my asset, in my selected assets. I already had this, and I remember running into problems with it. I wonder, let me see. I'm just curious about this now. I want to try, I need to find the other road system I have, or the road assets. Where the fuck is that? I think it's under exterior. I cuss too much. I've been cussing too much. I'm getting too comfortable with you guys. I got to stop cussing as much. All right, roads. Let's try streets. Road. Let's try that. Is that, yeah, that is a prefab. Let's just try this. Okay, easy. Apply. Okay, create. Okay, I'm just going to intersection. Okay, perfect. Apply. All right. Create. I don't know what I just did. No. Wait a minute. Oh, geez. It's like it's rotated wrong. Click the dot next to none game object and search for 2-lane. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think you might be talking about this here. Click the dot next to none game object. Is that on the left, the right, the bottom, the top? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay. Okay. All right. It would be great if I could create a road. Let me see something. Road system. Alt click. I added a prefab to that just for giggles. It's another intersection. That's fine. Okay. If I do this, and then I put it. Oh, I bet I think I know why. I think. Wait, let me see. Yeah. No, I have no idea what I'm doing. I thought this would have prefabs already. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I don't have the patience. Yep. 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 Let's do some programming really quick. No, we got 15 minutes left. Ugh. Let me see. I wonder, could this be a problem, like you were saying, Matthew, that the materials need to be updated? I don't know. I'm stretching. I don't know if I do create the road. I would think it would have, but oh, wait a minute. That's because so it didn't come with any prefabs, and I'm wondering if that's because those need to be upgraded, like you were saying. Where you set the intersection prefab. Okay. Oh, here? Here? Yeah, it didn't work. We can try with example assets first. If you push this to a branch or master, I can mess with the asset and maybe do a quick video if I figure it out. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, it's kind of doing something, right? It's like, oh, I don't know what I did there. I mean, that's working, but I don't understand how to. Okay, so wait, can I start end? Okay, so that's anchor. I'm just looking to see material. Would it be under material? Can I add something there? No, it'd have to be a prefab, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't be a material. I still don't quite understand what materials are. Like, materials, I don't understand what the difference really is between a material and a texture. Oh, wait, there's an error down here. Setting the parent of transformation which resides in a prefab asset is disabled. Prevent data corruption. I don't know what that means. So you're... Tool up source tree. What? What? Oh. So I was confused because I would expect there to be a lot more, right, than just this. So, but I'm guessing since it's a package. Okay, so it's like a node package or something like that, where you don't necessarily check the package in the source code. You just kind of check in the information about the package. And then anybody who clones that repo, they'll clone the package information, and then they will have, and then from there it'll download the package. The package will get downloaded locally. I see. Material processes the provided textures and manipulates them for certain visual effects and response to lighting. Material processes and the provided textures. Okay. So a material cannot exist without a texture? Oh yeah, Unity Package Manager. All right. Let me I don't want to branch my branch. Let me do this. Let me go ahead. Let me stash. This is going to reload. Oh, okay, that's going to do this. Let's just do this. Okay. Let me go ahead and merge this. Let me merge this into master. And then on Wednesday, we got to do some programming because I want to have the guards. I want to have the guards attack because the guards can already shoot. Although we haven't tried that functionality in a long time, so I don't know if it still works. But I don't see why it wouldn't. But the guards can shoot, so I want to have the guards shoot, and I want to have them kill the. I want to have them kill the green guy, and then I want us to feel sad. Because, like I said, I want the players to have an emotional attachment. So when we see the green guy die, although I've killed him lots of times because you can kill him. Let me go kill him now. Let's make sure it still works. And also to show you. I want to show Lisa. See that green guy? See how cute he is? I put a knife over here. Didn't I? I thought I did. Shut up. Okay, so that's a bug. There's a bug there. I think I'm like right on this edge of where he detects me, doesn't detect me, like I'm right on this edge of where I'm like out of his scope of range. All right, so we're going to go over. Oh wait, I thought I equipped it. Didn't I equip it? Or wait.
Please, you're under arrest. I'll find you.
All right. I'm sorry, Lisa. Here we go. And then I was trying to get him to follow me while he's dead. But it's interesting because he doesn't move. I think it's because I take his physics off or I put the physics on, something to do with that. I can't remember when he dies, if he's kinematic or if I turn it, make him. I can't. I toggle the kinematic. I'm pretty sure that's part of why he falls over. So I guess that's also why he doesn't quite follow me. He kind of follows me. That's right, Addie. Give him just the tip. That was my name in high school. The tip. All right, is he going to disappear? It's taking an awful long time to disappear. Maybe he won't. Oh, I wonder if it's because he's trying to follow me. He won't disappear. That's another bug. Oh. Because I told him to follow. Wait, we got to test that theory. Let me test that theory, merge to master, and then we'll call it a night. It's getting late. Okay, let me see. Come over here.
You're under arrest. I'll find you.
I'm sorry, little guy. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, damn it. Okay. Okay, let's see if he disappears now. Yeah, cancels death. Yeah, I think that's the issue. Is that because he's in the death state right now. Okay, and so we take him out of that state. So basically what we need to do is we need to have some kind of check that like if he's dead, then he can't change his state. That's just the state he's in. That's a very simple bug, but we'll write an issue just so I don't forget about it. Kill the green guy. Kill green guy. That's his name. Kill green guy. And then before he disappears, tell him to follow you. He will not disappear because his state changes. Really, the interaction menu should probably be disabled when the NPC is dead. All right. Maybe we can fix that on Wednesday, or maybe I'll fix it before then. What is this little button here? Wait a minute. What is that new little, what is GitHub? What is GitHub adding? What is that little button right? There's this little, what is this? There's an additional thing here. Like a drop. No! Oh, come on. How do I delete an issue? All right, I'll just close it. But there's like an additional little icon. You see that? Let me see. Maybe that's just the button. Maybe it's nothing. Okay. Pull request. Let's go ahead and merge this. And then what did I want to do? I want to check out dev road system 1. Okay. And then we'll git stash pop. That always confuses. Wait, did it abort it? Oh, there might be some. Was there a conflict? Let me see. File status. No, it looks good. Game Unity. Okay. Let's see. Pushing the road system for Matthew to take a look at. All right. So Matthew, if you get a chance, if you want to look at that, and maybe if you can figure out how the hell it works, that'd be great. I have no idea. I can't offer any help. I am very sorry. But if you want me to talk about abstract algebra more, let me know, and I'll be happy to just give a whole lesson on it. I mean, I'll have to brush up, but I like one of the things I wanted to do, not necessarily on this channel, but I wanted to have. So there's this book I have. So I assume anybody listening knows what Fermat's last theorem is, and knows that it was proven in like the 90s by this guy Andrew Wiles, I think was his name. So Fermat's last theorem, in case you don't know, you know how I have x squared plus y squared equals z squared, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared, Pythagoras' theorem, essentially. But Fermat's last theorem says that there is no solution if you think of, so a squared is the so you have a squared, right, plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. Well, Fermat's last theorem says that God damn it, if I could type. So it's plus b to the x equals c to the x, right? Fermat's last theorem says that there is no solution when x is greater than 2. And you probably all know this story, but I'm going to tell it for Lisa, who might not know the story. So Fermat was this mathematician. I can't remember if he's in the 1600s or the 1700s, but back then math was just kind of like a hobby for a lot of people. It wasn't nearly as formal as it is today. And it didn't really become as formal as it is today until like the mid to late 1800s. But so back in Fermat's time, you basically just had these people that were just kind of, they were usually like the elite or the rich people, because those were the only ones that were really, kind of back then. They were the only ones that could like afford to read and knew math and whatever. Anyway, but you had a lot of people that there were publications about mathematics, and mathematicians would exchange letters and they would have rivalries. Remind me one time to talk about this guy Galois. He's a really interesting guy, probably one of my favorite mathematicians. But Fermat's last theorem, Fermat was this mathematician, like I said, in the 1700s. I don't remember exactly. But he said that there is no solution to this, that for x greater than 2, there is no solution. And he wrote I think it was like in a diary or something. Like after he died, somebody went through his diary, and kind of like, or in some book or something, like on the side, he wrote, "I have come up with a very elegant solution to this, but it is too big to write in the margin." And then he never provided a proof. Like there was no proof, right? Because mathematicians at the time, they were like if you could prove, like Fermat proved lots of things. Like there's Fermat's little theorem, which I forget what it does, but just kind of remembering different theorems that Fermat did. But he did a lot of theorems. But for this Fermat's last theorem, he wrote that little note that was like, I have a very elegant solution to this, but it is too big to write into the margins. And then for years, people were like, well, did Fermat, did he actually have a solution, or was he just bullshitting, right? Like that was the question for a long, long time. Ahmed Jacob says, "Hi, Addy." Hey, Ahmed, good to see you again. Lisa, math as a hobby is wild. Math is awesome. So that was Fermat's last theorem. And so it didn't get proven until the 1990s, like nearly 300 years after Fermat. So I have this book, and it's downstairs. I'm not going to bother getting it, but it's called something like The Amateur's Guide to Fermat's Last Theorem. And basically, it's a study of number theory, which is like, if you want to solve Fermat's last theorem, it's all number theory. And number theory is the study of integers. And the book is it's titled something like that. The Amateur Guide to Fermat's Last Theorem. Something like that. Is that what it's called? Fermat's Last Theorem for Amateurs. This is it. Yeah. I think this is it. Yes, I am pretty sure this is it. But what I wanted to do, I thought, you know what? Because there's chapters, right? And they're relatively short chapters. So I was like, it would be really cool to kind of have like a channel that just went through every chapter, read the chapter, looked at the problems, and worked its way through the problems. But then I was like, that would probably be a big copyright issue, because it would basically be like a audiobook version. So, but anyway, I still think that would be neat, because it would be neat for me to do, because I think I have the education to be able to start that endeavor, and then I would have to actually kind of work at it, and it would be something fun. It would be fun to like work at. Wow, this is $64. I got that book for like $5. I got it for $5 at a thrift store. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize it was worth that much. There's this other book that I've always wanted. I have a copy of it. I have a modern copy of it. Lisa will think this is wild. The book is literally 1,000,000 random digits. And I bet you can't guess what the book is. It is literally 1,000,000 random digits. So the reason this book exists, so the original version is worth like several $100s, because it came out in the 30s or 40s. Like nowadays, you want a random number, you can ask your phone, right? But the randomness of random numbers that computers generate is actually very complicated. And the way that they do it, in order to guarantee randomness, and also you have to define what is randomness, you can't always guarantee randomness. And especially back in like the 30s and 40s, like if you needed a random number, it wasn't the most easy thing to do. So this book is literally 1,000,000 random numbers. It's just, I think every number is 1 through 1,000,000, or no. What is it? I have this reprint. This is a reprint of it. I have that downstairs. But I've always wanted the original. Where is let's see, 1,000,000 random digits original. The original is like a collector's edition, a collector's item, and it's very expensive. Pseudo randomness. Yes. I mean, because that's what you get a lot of times with computers is pseudo randomness. But this book was like, it was, I forget how they did it. I watched, there's an entire video on the book about how they came up with the random numbers. Let me look. A million random digits original print. Huh. That's interesting. I can't find any information about the original print. Let's go to eBay really quick. When's the last time you've gone to eBay? I guess I go there every now and then. I go there like once every 2 or 3 months, I think. I look on eBay. A million random. Oh! Was that what I thought it was? Oh, Jesus. I'm going to get suspended off of YouTube. Well, apparently eBay is no longer safe. This is what I get for raw dog browsing the internet. Like, you guys, you didn't see that. Hopefully the YouTube AI bot didn't see it either. She was totally wearing a bathing suit. She absolutely was wearing a bathing suit. Anyway, all right. Well, apparently a million random digits is going to lead to naked women. Okay, here's what you can. So look, when you got to get to the introduction, but then when you get to the meat of it, it's exactly what you would think it is. A million random digits. But this is like, it's an equal distribution of the digits. So it's truly random. Or no, actually, because equal distribution would not necessarily indicate randomness. It's truly random. Just put it that way. Just trust me on that. Look, we're already 4 minutes over. So I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to take the dog on one last walk, and then I'm going to get in bed with my wife. That's what I'm going to do. And you guys, and Lisa's going to continue petting her cat. And, you know, and Matthew's going to go be English. And, yeah, anybody else listening? I hope you have a great night. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you back here on Wednesday. We'll leave it there. All right, guys, have a great night, and I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Bye. Yes, bed at 9 p.m. because I love going to bed. I love being in bed. I love going to bed. So, yes, I go to bed usually around 9:30. All right, goodbye.